Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Happy Space Organizing. Today, I'm going to be telling you the number one thing that I hear when it comes to people not wanting to organize their space. The number one reason is that they say that they have tried it in the past and that it didn't work. And the main reason why it didn't work is because they feel like they just made a bigger mess and they didn't get it done. And basically, they got so overwhelmed that they walked away from it and made it worse. And a lot of times it takes longer to even recover from that. Sometimes that mess will just get shoved aside somewhere, ignored, and become a more painful thing to deal with later. So, if you ever have that challenge, I definitely want you to listen to this. I already know the number one reason why this is happening. And this is happening is because we tend to get a big burst of motivation and we have all these ideas and we're like, oh yeah, I want to completely revamp this space. I feel good. And then we get distracted or we get tired or we bit off a little more than we could chew and we didn't finish dealing with that. So the answer to this problem is simple. Don't start so big. When we are trying to organize our space, we want to almost think of it as like that goal of maybe weight loss, right? Say we want to lose 30 pounds. We can't expect ourselves to go to the gym and in one day lose that weight. It is just not realistic. It's not healthy. It's not going to happen. We want to do it in very manageable chunks repeatedly. It needs to be something that we can repeat and it needs to be something that we can maintain. So, I suggest when you are organizing a space, you want to start with something very small, something that's going to take 5-10 minutes max. We don't want it to be something that is going to completely overwhelm us. And the nice thing about this rule is if we actually do one small drawer and finish it and get rid of the junk and make it organized, put everything kind of as a reset, right? We want it to be something where we can actually walk away from when we're done and not have to look at it again. So if we have things that we're donating, it needs to be in the car. If we have things that are trash, it needs to be away from that space and things need to be put back. This is your goal. You don't want to have an organizing project that takes more than one day. We want to make sure that when we walk away, it's done and we feel better. And if we set something for only 5 or 10 minutes, what happens if we feel like going again? We can do one more drawer or one more small space, and it just makes it so much easier. So many people also struggle with pulling everything out in the first place. As a professional organizer, I recommend that you just do what works for you because some people will naturally take everything out and they're not going to be able to put everything back because they get distracted way quicker than 5 minutes. If that is you, if it's a junk drawer again, open that drawer, scan what's in there. If there's any obvious garbage, take it out right away. If there's anything that doesn't belong there, put it there right away. And this is a trick I've learned from another professional organizer. If it doesn't fit in that spot, you need to figure out what you can move or what you can get rid of in order to make it fit. This is the method that you will never create a mess. It is slower. So, because you're running back from room to room right away, it can be a lot slower. And because we're not finishing a whole space at once, we might feel like we're not getting anything done. But for some people, this is the only way that really works. If you can't sit around even for 5 minutes and just focus on one space, a lot of this is for people who have ADHD, then just do that. Embrace your whims to move around and do stuff, but don't put anything down until it's in the one spot that is either the trash or the donate pile or where it belongs. And that way you can progress very, very slow, but it's going to be very steady. So in that 5, 10, 15 minute time that you've zoned for doing this work, it's not going to ever get worse. It's only going to improve, and you're going to improve multiple spaces in your home at once. So that is the trick for that. So let me know, what do you think works for you? Is it going to be you're going to completely take out everything of one space and make sure you go through it, sort it, finish the steps, the whole space method? Or are you going to just try and dabble with one thing at a time? Both way are very effective. It just depends on what your attention span really is and everything like that. As long as it's easy for you, it's something that you can maintain, and say goodbye to that huge pile on a bed that you're going to have to deal with later, and just start simple. So I hope this helps. This is a strategy that every professional organizer recommends, as long as they're not in there working with you. If someone is in there working with you, you are always going to have that accountability. You're going to have that help. And the organizer will definitely make sure that they're not just going to be leaving you with that big mess you're never going to deal with. Okay. That's going to be well planned out and well thought out. So if you're just doing it on your own, think very, very small in a way that's not overwhelming, and make sure you clear the clutter at the end of it, the garbage and the things that are needing to be donated. Okay, so I hope that helps. And I just challenge you today to spend 5 minutes going through one small space in your house and completing it. And give yourself a huge high five. This is the way that you're going to break out of that cycle that it's too hard. All right, and thank you so much. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Bye bye.